What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of AOR Oceania on the Xbox One platform in Season 5. We're here for round number 14 here at the Italian Grand Prix. Now, we'll explain just a little tick about why it is the Italian Grand Prix, where is the Belgian Grand Prix highlights. I'll explain in a second. But there is the results from the Belgian Grand Prix. You can see where your favourite driver is, which means the championship-wise is 162 points between New Zealand Ryan and LSEM Allan. We're still P11, but we are being chased down by LSEM the Butler. It is now 233 points in the constructors between Ferrari and Haas, and Alfa Romeo is still in position 8. Now, like I mentioned before, I did not take part in the Belgian Grand Prix, basically because that was that weekend I was away. Was getting my normal 2-year eye check, so basically I was away on the Sunday and didn't get back till late Monday anyway, so I had to miss the Belgian Grand Prix, which is a bit of a shame. I had to do it, but anyway, I obviously had to check my eyes out, obviously, every 2 years, so yeah, thankfully they are still pretty much the same, so that's an added bonus. But yeah, going into the Italian Grand Prix, I was feeling relatively confident. I had some pretty decent pace around here in the past. Obviously on a different game now compared to F1 like 2018 and 17. That's LSEM Allan, who's off the road there, but haven't caught up with that as well. He did join the Lightspeed Esports team, I think. Oh no, it might be is it Lightspeed Eternium team or something like that? Anyway, it's there. Basically, it's another esports team. Obviously, if you've seen LSEM the Butler, you'll pretty much understand that one. So he obviously did that, I think, before the Belgian Grand Prix, or it was just before the Italian Grand Prix. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, first run is in the books. Was pretty average, really, to be honest. Missed the first bit of the turn 1. Ran a little bit wide coming out of the second Lesmo, and yeah.
Our best lap so far is a 1 minute 19.8.
Didn't feel the greatest at the moment. Ryan's currently on provisional pole at the moment. There's a few guys, including my teammate, that's still yet to set lap times. Derek Kidd, LSEM Allan, and LSEM the Butler. So we're currently in position 8, I think, at the moment, or 6, sorry, I should say. But he's sitting on board with that laggy person, so he's ahead of his teammate, New Zealand Ryan, just behind him here. But coming into the chicane, Ryan does a little bit of a cheeky here.
See you later.
Just says a little bit of a see you later to his teammate there. Gives him a little weave there. I hope that was a good weave, not a bad weave. You don't want to have stoushes with your teammate, that's for sure. But it was just letting my teammate through. He's on his flying lap at the moment here. So with lap 2, again missing the first part of the first turn, I should say, at the chicane. You always want to try and get over that bump a little bit more, not miss it completely like I did there. But we still had probably enough time to do another run, especially. So yeah, but you see, my teammate Matt actually completed his flying lap, and he asked me whether I wanted a little bit of slipstreaming, and I said, yeah, why not? But it probably wasn't the ideal spot to be around here with these curves, but it was sort of gaining me a little bit of time. This was probably where I needed a bit more the long straights, but this was sort of planned last minute, not like we planned it pre-race, but I told him to go quickly left, which he does. So just going a little bit too hot coming into Ascari, and well, what was the fastest middle sector overall, turned out the lap wasn't great, but I decided to finish it anyway just to see where it was. Master Berserk's actually gone to provisional pole as well, so he's got some pretty decent speed around Monza, but yeah, going to come across the line now, complete our second lap, but it just misses out, only not by much. It was about 3/100 slower, I think, in the end, even though maybe the timing may be a little bit glitched as well, so might have been a little bit higher, but anyway, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, we didn't like, it was sort of like a last minute thing, you could say, when we did that. It was mainly what you saw just then. So yeah, there was it certainly helped a little bit, but in the end I just went a little bit too deep, but that was my bad there. But we're pretty close to each other on the grid at the moment. I'm just ahead of Matt at the current moment, but I felt like I knew I had the speed, and I put a lot of effort into this round and TT, and time trial if you want to be more specific, because Death Bro's on provisional pole at the moment. But yeah, I put a lot of effort in. I was pretty close to my VSR colleague in VSR Hydraulics, I think it was, in the time trial. But whether that speed would translate more into the race, we'll have to wait and see. But much better run here through turn 1 there, and trying to avoid the wheel spin using a third gear there. But look at the time that we've gained already coming out of that first sector. We'll stick aboard
30 seconds
for
left
the
in
remainder of
session.
this lap, because this is my fastest lap overall. Nice and cautiously through here. Didn't want to actually cut it coming through here. Just a little bit of oversteer coming out of the second turn 5. The second Lesmo, running out as a little bit wide as you can. Nicely done. See, we're getting a much better run through here. That was a much better exit compared to what that first lap was. You can see the time is just gaining here. And we actually set a purple middle sector again. But again, just ran it in just a tiny bit too deep. Wasn't by much, but I felt like it maybe cost me a little bit of time as well. But we're about 4/10 quicker at the current moment, as the checker flag is out. So pretty much this is all we've got here. Just giving absolute all here. Just trying to get the turn in out of Parabolica. Take the shortest run to the line, come across it, and we only go to P7 with a 19.252, which is only about nearly 6/10 quicker than my previous best. But I felt like an 18 was pretty damn close, but just didn't quite get in the end. But LSEM Allan actually gets pole with a 1 minute, what was it, a 1 minute 18.754, just slightly ahead of New Zealand Ryan. Death Bro, pretty decent job as always. Obviously finished up in P8, and my teammate just outside the 10 in P11, which means he'll get the free choice of tyres. And there's a few other guys, I think, as well, but that I didn't actually scroll down to the last minute. But it's time to go racing for the Italian Grand Prix. All right, welcome to the grid for the Italian Grand Prix under pretty overcast skies, but thankfully there is no rain, thank God, because I'm not a wet weather master. But race strategy-wise, it's a pretty simple one-stop around here, starting on the soft compounded tyres and going on to the medium tyres. Not sure exactly how long you can take the soft tyres for, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. But of course, slipstream is going to be definitely a big factor in this race, because who knows what will happen around here. Everyone may just pretty much stick in the slipstream for this whole race. We set off for the formation lap.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap.
Thank you, Jeff. Just getting myself prepared as well, just in case I get a bit of front wing damage early on in the race, or just in case I have to pit early and to pretty much change strategy on the run here. But anyway, we're going to come to the end of the formation lap. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the pace is like around here, because we're running very lowish wings in the form of about 2-4 wings, I think it is. So it'll be interesting to see. And I felt like, yeah, the race pace wasn't too bad.
Start sequence will begin.
So it'll be interesting to see how we go here. So looks like we're all set to go here for round number 14, the Italian Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Let's do it around Monza, and Toppy B has gone nowhere off the line. So, and he actually goes a little bit, which seldom helps us a bit. So we're going to go down here. Nav's looking up the inside here of Berserk. We take a nice course line here. We get a little bit squeezed in a turn 1 and actually get a bit of front wing damage as well, which after this I wasn't overly happy after this one.
You've taken some minor damage.
And that's just not what I needed, especially on a lap 1 of a 27 lap race. Trying to obviously We'd lost a spot to New Zealand Venom, and I was trying to cover LSEM the Butler, but he will have the inside corner for this one. He has a little bit oversteer mode, so we're going to try and keep in front of him here, but he'll have the inside into this first Lesmo. And Warden's not far behind either as well, so he'll probably have some decent pace. We run very, very wide coming out of the second Lesmo there, so we lose a bit of ground there. And you'll see here on the bottom right here, I actually get prepared to possibly come in at the end of this lap here to obviously change the front wing, but go into the hard competitor types, which is definitely not what I wanted to happen, especially around here. I just basically wanted to keep in touch with these guys. The yellow flag behind, I think that's from my teammate who was struggling a little bit. He's going on the opposite strategy, mediums to soft tyres, and he didn't quite have the grip earlier on. The tyres were very, very cold for him earlier in the race. We finished complete lap 1. Ryan, I think, has got the lead at the moment here, but we're under attack from the other McLaren of Warden behind. And I think he's going to have a look down the inside here into turn 1. Trying to break as deep as we dare. He goes down the inside as well. We take this nice tight line, try and go around, have the inside line for turn 2, but Warden switches around the outside and gets the move done. Pretty simple there for Warden, and now he can probably chase after LSEM the Butler. But you saw then I sort of aborted that plan of, well, I was going to give myself a couple of laps just to make sure, as there's a couple of New Zealand Venom and Butler are battling away here. Warden may take a bit of advantage here, not around the outside there. Warden are into the second the two Lesmos, I should say. There's still more yellow flags behind. I think it's for, it looks like the Renault of Derek Kidd by the looks of it. So he's had a bit of a moment coming through that second chicane here. But this is getting in the slipstream here just behind Warden, and he's still chasing after Butler here for P8, I think it is. There's a little bit of a moment coming out of Ascari, but manages to hang on for the time being. But I was going to give myself obviously a couple laps just to see what the pace was like, and I thought to myself, well, keeping up with these guys up in front, so I thought may as well just keep on going for the time being, as the front wing damage didn't seem to be affecting me too much. As Warden goes around the outside, which will turn to the inside line here. There's a little bit of a biff and barge there, and actually pushes him, I think, a little bit off-road there. Sort of helps me out. Thank you, Warden, for that one. So we get up into position 9, trying to pretty much stick in behind Warden here. Let's think about going for a move, but no, we're not that stupid going into the second chicane, as we actually get our first track limits warning. There's probably another thing as well. If you're one of these guys that, well, like me, explores the track limits, there's Warden exploring the track limits right there. So it'll be interesting to see if any guys get any penalties this race as well. So it'll be very interesting, or whether some of them may go completely scot-free with penalties wise. But you can see Warden in the foreground there, go for a move on New Zealand Venom. He's going to go around the outside, which will turn to the inside, and again he gets that move done. So he solved that plan really well at the first chicane there, has Warden. So he's up into P7, and now be chasing after Laggy, I think it is, in position 6. But now so he's trying to keep in touch here. There's a big crash. The Berserk is out of the Grand Prix. That was a massive, massive crash.
Okay, clear.
And I think it sort of gave me a little bit of flashbacks to what happened with, I think it was Aussie's Alex Peroni back in Formula 3 around Monza. If you haven't seen that footage, well, I will warn people now, if you haven't seen that footage, it is a little bit scary, but thankfully he did walk away from it unscathed. He did have probably a little bit of a bruise, but I think he got away with it. I think Warden's actually cleared Laggy as well. We'll get a replay of that with Berserk a bit later on, but we're going to keep our eye on this one. It's lap 6. We're now starting to close in here on a Venom, and straight line speed's probably not too bad. He's going to try to do a Warden trick around the outside, which will turn to the inside, but we take the curve a little bit too much and just get on the power a little bit too early, and Venom actually gets the better drive out of the corner, so he manages to hang on to P7 for the time being. But we're not done with yet here, so this guy obviously tries to stick in behind here. Someone's gone straight ahead at the second chicane. I think that's Death Bro's gone straight ahead big time. And he's dropping spots, lost a spot to Lag. He may lose a spot to Warden. Warden is all over him here in that McLaren. But something's not right there for Deth. Whether he's struggling with tyres or he's got damage or something, We might have to see in a second, but I think Warden's going to get him here just before Ascari, keeping the slipstream behind Venom. Yes, managed to slow the car down, but in all that, we actually lose a bit of ground here and actually go back into the clutches here of LSEM the Butler. But you might have a look down here into Parabolica, whether he was going to go for a move or not. So he has a little look up, which sort of puts me off a little bit, runs it a little bit wide. There was no contact, thankfully, so that was all fair. But now he's up the inside now, and we actually still both get, I think he gets the DRS as well, if I'm not mistaken. Can't even tell here because of the way the car's in position, but I think he possibly still has DRS. As Warden now doing the same trick again on his corner, but I don't think he's managed to get it done. But we lose a spot now to Butler, and now we're back into position 9. So now we're going to try and chase after these guys ahead, and I think Warden's now finally got past deth, which is sort of caused a bit of a Constantina effect here now, because he's under a bit of attack here is deth from both New Zealand Venom and LSEM the Butler. But, as Butler gets a little bit of a rear end wiggle there, as now it's eager to see what the pace is like. The straight line speed by the looks of things on this car is actually not too bad, so I was pretty surprised to actually see that. So yeah, we're doing all right at the current moment here, but just lose a little bit of ground coming through Ascari. But let's have a look at the replays here. So this on board with Toppy B, with Top Banter at the start of the race. So what happens here? So 5 lights coming on now. He gets the glitch. This is a common thing. I don't understand why this has not been fixed. This seems to be a common thing occurring. You get the common glitch where the other cars go, but you get stuck with the further long hole with the red lights here. But here's the replay with me in the slow-mo here. You can sort of see a bit of a squeeze. Now, I wasn't actually too thrilled with the LSEM, the Butler, after that one, because I felt like he was the one that caused that. But I think afterwards, I think it was just me. Sort of outbreak myself a little bit, and yeah, that was why I was probably slammed into the side of Laggy, and what gave me the front wing damage in the end. So yeah, no harm done to LSEM the Butler there. So now we'll jump aboard with his fellow LSEM buddy, LSEM Allan, formerly Alan Hugo, if you're not well aware of that right now. But this was obviously the incident with Mars Berserk's behind. We'll get a replay of that in a second. You see he's trying to make the move here on New Zealand Ryan for the lead. Now, I think there's just a tiny bit of contact there, and can't remember what actually occurred there. I don't think it was any harm done there, so I think they got away with that one. But can't remember actually what Ryan said. But anyway, you see in the background, look at the actual crash there from Master Berserk. And thankfully, it was well off the racing line as well. So my word, that was a massive crash, and it's just not been having the luck again. It's been poor old Master Berserk. So again, another DNF added to his tally this season. As you see, Death Bro under in the first chicane there, he's really locked the rears big time there into the first chicane. But see what happens here coming into the second chicane here. I don't think there's no contact. He loses the rear end, so that's why. So he's probably either struggling with the braking before. So there's actually a little bit of contact there with Warden, but I think they've actually got away scot-free of that one, so that's probably an added bonus. We have a little bit of a touch there with the LSE and the Butler, but yeah, he's either struggling with the braking balance on the car, or he's got some tyre wear issues there. As actually Kaiwas is now retired in the pits, so not sure exactly what happened with him. It's really unfortunate for Kaiwas, as Butler has a look on Venom, I think it is. Yeah, yes, by the looks of it. As you can see, actually, if you look at the mini-map in the bottom left, you can probably see the top 3, which is...
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
You see...
We're leading our teammate by 7.1 seconds.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt Jeff there, but Butler and Venom are actually battling away here, just to sort of helping me out. Trying to get a nice run here. These two actually make a little bit of eye contact, but they may actually get away with it. But you can see probably the top 3. I think it's New Zealand Ryan, LSEM Allan, and I think Narbs as well. You see how far ahead those 3 are. They pretty much got their own group, and then it's pretty much this next group is the battle for pretty much 4th downwards. But there's a little bit of slight contact between Butler and Venom. How Butler saved that one, I absolutely have no idea. But now side by side, Death Bro's now put himself in the wall there. and he's out of the Grand Prix into 2 lesmos, so not sure exactly what happened to him, whether he's still struggling with the rear end or something, or whether it was the tyres or something. I don't actually know, so yeah, a bit of a shame for Deth. But Butler gets the move done on Venom, as we get another track limits warning through Scari. Obviously, that puts us one away from getting a time penalty, which is probably not ideal around here, but to see the slipstream here is not too bad. We're going to have a little look up the inside here of Venom. Not quite close enough here. It's also getting closer to the pit window as well. You can see Butler's actually coming to the pit lane. Didn't like that sort of like, well, what would you call it? A little, not a swipe or anything, but like cut across. I didn't like that from a New Zealand Venom at all. I mean, there was probably no malice in it whatsoever. He was probably trying to get the slipstream off LSEM and the Butler, but yeah, I just didn't like that one at all. But
they're on old softs. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 26.4. We're gaining by about 9/10 a lap. Keep it up.
Yeah, so New Zealand Venom just checking the penalty situation, that he's got 0 penalties, but yeah, we've kept it out of this long with a damaged front wing. Not too bad at all. So we're going to come in, as well as Venom and Laggy is the other one. Brazuca's the only one, I think, left on the soft tyres, so he's continued on for another lap. But we're going to come in here, and obviously everyone's coming in for the medium tyres, but I went for a change, we obviously changed onto the medium tyres, but also went for a change of front wing. Now, I don't know, after the race, and even after thinking about it, even watching it back, I possibly could have maybe stuck it out and with the front wing damage for the rest of the race, but I just didn't want to be,
look after these tyres.
I didn't want to risk it per se,
on this compound.
especially where we were, but and considering how close we are battling with the LSE and the Butler. So I didn't want to take any risks, really. So you can see how far behind we've really dropped now, back from New Zealand Venom and those guys. There's lap 12. Conrad and Brazuca coming. Brazuca's actually coming out of the pit lane. We just actually managed, only by, I don't know, cigarette paper, to literally keep ahead of Brazuca. Not by much. So that front wing change probably did affect us a little bit there. That just managed to hang on to the position for now.
The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. The time last lap was a 1 minute 30.0. Gap to teammate ahead is 18.5 seconds.
Set our personal best on that lap time. So that was obviously just checking in on Brazuca, but end of lap 4, end of lap 13, I should say. We set a...
They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:24.8. You're gaining by 2 seconds a lap. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
That was critical as well, but I think that was mainly for LSE and the Butler.
Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 23.8. You're closing by 0.4 per lap. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Yeah, even double checked on the next lap, but I said a 19.252, I think it was, on that lap 13. But yeah, that was the critical one, because LSE and the Butler's got a 3-second time penalty. So basically, they had to get past him. Just well, even if I keep within 3 seconds of him, he'll lose a spot.
We need to look after the tyres.
As my teammate has come into the pit lane for the soft tyres, so he'll absolutely blaze to the end of the race and may even get an extra point for Alfa Romeo, which would be an added bonus. But now it's a case of just trying to close down on LSE and the Butler here, and very obviously
is 8.9 seconds.
Tight on the ERS as well, which is using quite a bit. He used quite a bit around here, as he sets the fast lap at a 21.6, I think it was, for is that map. You can see Venom has pulled away here from Butler, and Butler makes a critical mistake coming through turn 5 there. I wasn't a little bit fan of the rejoin, especially where he was on the track, but it was all fair, no dramas. We got away with it, so you can see now we've got a good chance here, maybe going up the inside before Ascari. Obviously, I knew he was going to go for the inside line here, so straight line speed actually not too bad, like I said earlier in the race. So go around the outside and make it through Ascari. Not the greatest line through here, which sort of compromised the line a little bit. So I knew I had to cover straight away, especially with how low the ERS is around here, like I mentioned as well. But you probably saw earlier with those last couple of clips as well that Butler was battling away with New Zealand Venom and didn't really work out. And I think he actually cut the chicane part anyway into like turn 2, that little bit there. But knew he was going to come and attack me again, so try and cover. We'll try and do a little bit of a weave. I don't think there's any drama with that one, but try and go around the outside, but it just squeezes enough to make sure we don't get the move done, and he gets back up into position 7. And I think he sort of knows, even with the time penalty, I hope he would know with the time penalty as well, even if I stayed within 3 seconds, he would drop behind me as well. Now, this is pretty much the battle, considering now for who gets 7th or 8th and possibly even higher. I mean, maybe if I didn't change that front wing, I could have maybe got ahead of Butler, could have maybe caught up with the other guys that are a bit further up the road of New Zealand Venom and possibly Laggy as well. I think was probably in close proximity as well. So, but obviously you saw this lap as we about to kick off lap 20. He did have a think about going up into the Scari, but now this time around I've decided to have a crack going down into turn 1. Obviously he's going to cover the inside line here. He's going to try and go do a Warden trick, go around the outside, brake as late as you dare, somehow even make the corner. Maybe there's a slight bit of contact there. We've made a fair, clean move and we're back up into position 7. But again, this is the sort of thing with the slipstream. Even without DRS and probably a bit of ERS as well, especially around here, it is big time. It is quite decent around here. Don't you worry about that. But now obviously just trying to gap him as best I can, especially get him out of that 1 second window, especially to keep out of the DRS. So, and obviously a bit of a gap further ahead to New Zealand Venom, and Laggy is listed a little bit further on, like I said. But just covering the inside line here just to make sure he wasn't there. Obviously trying to break the slipstream as well. I hate just to have to push on and just try and break this gap out of the 1 second barrier just to make sure of it. You can see even I'm still trying to break the slipstream off LSEM the Butler. Probably not ideal when I'm sticking on this line here, but it's not quite done with yet, I don't think. So we've just put it in full overtake mode and even in full reach mode. Quite a lot of fuel on board, so now underneath a lap of fuel, I think, well, under the 1+1 litre of fuel. So I thought about it going down into turn 1, but it ran a little bit wide there, which sort of compromised the line there.
But has started to drop back. There's a gap beginning to form.
He just didn't have quite the drive. You can see Ellis in the Butler. I would assume he's put his ERS in the higher modes, I would think, but we get a little bit of contact there as well. But no harm done. But he absolutely goes in very deep into that first chicane there. So obviously now just still playing the patient game. Obviously my teammate's not far behind either, so we can't afford to stick behind Butler too long here, otherwise Matt will catch up and I'll probably lose even more ground to the guys, New Zealand Venom and Laggy, a bit further up. But again, we're going to go around the outside into Ascari, and again we get the move done. This time it's a little bit better run actually through Ascari, and the LSEM the Butler is probably not the same. So we may actually have probably one of the biggest gaps we've got over him at the current moment. We'll wait and see as we come on to the begin lap 22 of this race. You can see that proximity arrow is actually starting to dim out quite a bit more, so we may have just gapped him quite enough just to maybe not quite get him out of the window, because he'll obviously still have the DRS, and I'm still using overtake mode and rich mix, but he won't have a chance going down turn 1. And just make it nice and cautiously through here. Just get the drive out of here. Using third gear, obviously, just to make sure I don't get a lot of wheel spin here. But I think we've now possibly just done enough to get him out of that DRS window. You can see here a bit further on that Curva del Saraglio. I can't even pronounce that. My Italian's not brilliant. But now I think we've got him out of the 1 second window. So
we have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Thank you, Jeff. Just giving an update on the fuel. But now, obviously, I think we're definitely breaking that window now. And you see coming on to lap 25 now, you see the gaps now really starting to grow a little bit between me and Butler. But now it was on now to try and catch up to the guys in front. And I think they were starting to battle a little bit as well, which was sort of adding to it as well. You see, tyres not too bad.
Tyres is pretty much spent, I think. You should be able to bring a bit more out, but it won't be long before they fall away from you entirely.
Left-hand side is probably the worst obviously worst worn tyres at this stage. But again, those two are still battling away. You see as Venom actually has got back ahead of Laggy.
They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 15 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 23.5. You're gaining by 0.3 a lap. Good work.
He's obviously starting to put the pressure on here, and Laggy's obviously got 0 penalties. So he starts the final lap of the race. This is what I was really hoping for. Well, in my head, I was sort of hoping these two would tangle and I would get another couple of spots here, but I wanted fair racing as well. You can see those two actually going side by side, so this is probably an added bonus, but yeah, can't afford, well, probably could afford to take another warning and get a time penalty, but just wanted to be sure, especially considering LSEM the Butler, where he is. Especially coming through the second chicane here, you can see he's coming off the exit. I nearly actually bottled it coming out of that second chicane there, and God, that was a hard-in-mouth moment, let me tell you. But we got away with that one. But we've lost all that ground now, trying to catch up ahead. As Nams has crossed the line in position 1, but I think you'll find it'll go to Ryan. I think it is. We'll go take the victory, and you'll see why we have a look at the race results here. But had a little moment as well coming out of the exit of Ascari, but just kept it clean. And Matima actually got ahead of Butler as well, but I think he's got a little bit more time penalties as well. So we're going to come across the line and finish in P7, which is not too bad, considering even with the little bit of wing damage as well. Probably could have kept the old wing if I had to, but anyway, it is what it is. And Butler actually gets P8 just ahead of my teammate, is that Matt. So, but anyway, there's the podium. So you can see the red of the Ferrari. The Ferrari fans will be cheering quite a bit here as Ryan takes the victory just ahead of the Haas of LSEM Allan. And Nams running out the podium in position 3. So, and it was a great battle as well. If you haven't seen the live stream, go check it out. The link obviously to the AOR YouTube channel will be down in the description below. But go check the stream out because those three had a fairly decent battle, literally slipstreaming each other for the lead of the race. And like I said, they had their battle group, we had our battle group. So, final results, you can see Nams actually crossed the line in first, but with that 3-second time penalty, dropped him back to third. So, yeah, it would have been a decent result for Nams. So Ryan, Allan, and Nams 1, 2, and 3. Warden, good job in P4 from P13 or 12 or 13 on the grid, not too bad. New Zealand Venom, then Laggy, myself, obviously, LSEM the Butler. Matt had 9 seconds worth of penalties, so hence why he couldn't get many bit more points. And Brazuca ran out to 10, then he got Toppy in 11th, and Conrad in 12th, then he got deth, Kaiwas, Master Berserk, and Derek Kidd, and the DNF. So, points-wise, it's 169 points now between New Zealand Ryan and LSEM Allan, with Warden in position 3. Now, Laggy in P4 ahead of Poms, and is that Matt, Deathbro, Berserk, Top Banter, and Derek Kidd rounding out your 10. We maintain P11 ahead of LSEM the Butler, Brazuca in 13, Conrad, Kaiwas, and Icarus. And there's a possibility as well that Ryan could wrap up the championship next time out at Singapore. They did say it earlier in the season that it was a possibility. It's probably more likely now. 264 points between Ferrari and Haas in 1 and 2 at the moment. Toro Rosso still maintained P3, even though Nams is a reserve. The points don't actually classify until he's actually a full-time driver ahead of McLaren, Mercedes. Alfa Romeo jump up into 6th place, so not too bad. And Williams still rounding out the 10-car constructors. But there's the overall results in the Italian Grand Prix. So Ryan obviously took victory in Xbox F1. Penske made it another Ferrari victory in Xbox F2 ahead of Michi and Zombie. And Pete Crichton took the victory for Mercedes ahead of 40 and Plebs. Unfortunately for Amazing Hour, he had a big crash at Scari, I think it was, but you can check out the live streams there as well. But that'll do it for this video at the Italian Grand Prix. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR Oceania content on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, my social media links will be down in the description, plus the links to the AOR YouTube and the website if you want to go check those out as well. But yeah, I'll leave you now with the highlights, and until the Singapore Grand Prix, which should be exciting, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.